NHL free agent frenzy is off to a frantic start. Today we're looking at 4 big signings by the Toronto Maple Leafs. We've also got some other signings around the NHL, including deals with the Edmonton Oilers, Seattle Kraken, Buffalo Sabres, and a few others. Well, that coming up next. So welcome back to another video here at Top Shelf Hockey. As we mentioned, the free agent frenzy signings are off to a crazy start here. We're going to try to break this up to a few videos and try to lump these in by team. Some teams have been extremely busy here, including the Toronto Maple Leafs. Now, the Maple Leafs, of course, we knew acquired the rights to Chris Tanev, so no big shock there. We had talked about in last night's video the rumored price and contract that was coming. Now we have it official. The official word on Tanev is a 6-year deal at $4.5 million, and he does have a full no-move clause for the duration. Obviously, that's a lot of term for Tanev. They did the longer term to make the AAV lower. I know some people aren't happy about that, but theoretically, it's totally legal. It takes them to age 40. Not a lot of players play that long, but at the end of the day, it's totally within the rules here. So Tanev signs with Toronto 6 times $4.5. They've also signed former Panther and Stanley Cup champion Oliver Ekman-Larsson. So they're adding more to their blue line. Ekman-Larsson gets a 4-year contract with the Maple Leafs at $3.5 million. So that's a couple of big additions here to their blue line. So some great experience for Ekman-Larsson this past year in Florida after getting bought out in Vancouver. So the exodus on the Florida blue line here continues. They've also re-signed young goalie Joseph Woll. We knew that was coming. We had heard the rumblings back a little while ago. Of course, they had to wait for July 1 to be official. He gets a 3-year contract extension at $3.66 million. And they continue to bring in other members of the Stanley Cup champion Florida Panthers. They've signed backup goalie Anthony Stolarz, who will come to Toronto to work in tandem with Joseph Woll. Anthony Stolarz signs a contract of 2 years and $2.25 million. Now, some concerns, I guess, within the media talking about the goalie tandem in Toronto. They're both good goalies, but the problem is, concern, I guess you could say, is that neither have ever started a high number of games. They've both dealt with a lot of injury issues over the years. Both have proven to play very well when they're healthy, but can they stay healthy? That's the big thing. I'm sure the Leafs are going to want a solid number 3. There was some rumors about Marty Jones maybe remaining in the organization. We'll see if that comes to be. But yeah, so at the end of the day here, it's a big signing, but can they stay healthy and get the games played in? That's the big question. Other signings today, including the Edmonton Oilers, are bringing back Connor Brown. He signs a 1-year deal, $1 million for the season. Of course, last year he had some big bonuses built in. Ended up getting way overpaid based on what he delivered, but he was a lot better at the end of the year and then into the playoffs. Brown took a while after recovering from that major knee surgery to really find his game and kind of get back to, somewhat closer to what the player he used to be, but proved extremely valuable down the stretch and into the playoffs. So he remains with the Oilers. They're also trying to keep Janmark and Perry. Those contracts are not finalized as of yet, but they have signed James Hamblin, who gets a 2-year, 2-way contract. Of course, at league minimum for the NHL part of it. And they've also brought in a good buddy of Matthias Ekholm, Victor Arvidsson, who was a UFA leaving the Los Angeles Kings. Of course, he spent his whole career between LA and Nashville. Arvidsson gets a 2-year contract with the Oilers at $4 million. So he will be a good, middle 6 scoring winger that most likely brings the end of the time there for Warren Foegele. Foegele was believed to be hitting free agency along with Adam Henrique as well. So I would suspect that that's probably going to mean the end of the road for Foegele. Arvidsson will likely take that spot. The Sabres have signed Sam Lafferty. Of course, they had traded, Chicago had traded for Lafferty in the trade as well a couple of days ago, getting his signing rights, but they never signed him. So he becomes a free agent and goes to Buffalo. 2 years, $2 million per season. The Seattle Kraken have signed another big contract with a former member of the Florida Panthers and Stanley Cup champion Brandon Montour. Montour signs a 7-year contract at $7 million per season. When he was on his best playing time, especially last year, he looked like he would be a dominant defenseman. He took a little, I guess a little later into his career to really hit his stride, but that contract honestly concerns me a little bit. He had a major shoulder surgery last year, and this year, to me, he was good, but wasn't as good. Like, for example, he had lost a spot on the top power play unit in the playoffs. On the route to the Stanley Cup, they were using Ekman Larsson as their main offensive D and Forsling as their main defensive D. Montour kind of slid down to be like the 3-4 guy. So, I don't know. I mean, he's very smart. He's good offensively. I just don't know that he's going to live up to that contract. I guess time will tell. This is why they call it the silly season. If he can find his form that he found last year, it'll be great. If not, it could be somewhat disastrous there. The San Jose Sharks are bringing in a veteran, Tyler Toffoli. I guess he doesn't care about winning a Stanley Cup anytime soon, but he was lured by the fact that he could have the long-term security of the term. He's bounced around a lot in recent years, and certainly somebody that, like I said, who wants to settle down and just have a home for a while after playing, through Montreal, through Calgary, through New Jersey, traded to Winnipeg. He wants us to settle down, so he got a bigger AAV going to the Sharks because they have a lot more flexibility. Gets a 4-year contract in San Jose at $6 million per year. There was rumor that the Kings were interested in a reunion. That never worked out. A few other teams, I know Ottawa, Montreal were interested, but nobody was going to give him $6 million outside of San Jose, so it makes sense that he goes there. Jordan Martinook is going back to Carolina. He gets a 3-year contract extension at $3 million per season, so we've seen a bit of a mass exodus today out of Carolina, but Martinook is one of the guys that will remain. The Washington Capitals, of course, as we talked about just a little while earlier, traded for Jacob Chychrun. They moved Nick Jensen in that trade to Ottawa, who's a right-shot defenseman, making just a little less than Chychrun. And now they signed Matt Roy, former Los Angeles King. Roy goes to the Washington Capitals on a 6-year contract at $5.75 million. So the Capitals remain very busy and trying to really remake that team and see how competitive they can be to keep, hopefully, what they feel to be a window open during the remaining years of Alex Ovechkin. So we'll see. In New Jersey, confirms Brett Pesce has signed. Pesce signed 6 years at $5.5 million. So Carolina and Florida are getting decimated with people leaving. We'll see how they replenish. New Jersey is reportedly in on Brendan Dillon as well, but Dillon is not. That has not been officially announced as of yet, so I don't know the term. So we'll see. The Calgary Flames have also extended Yegor Sharangovich, who they picked up from New Jersey last year. He gets a 5-year contract extension at $5.75 million. He turned out to be a real good player for them. Of course, he was in the Toffoli deal when they traded Toffoli to the Devils. Sharangovich came over and scored 30 goals and had a real breakout season. So they lock him up long term. And the Flames are also bringing in former Capital and Golden Knight Anthony Mantha, who signs a 1-year deal at $3.5 million. So he'll have an opportunity to see if he can continue what he started last year. Obviously, things were better for him last year. Had a good run in Washington to improve his numbers, which created some value. Got traded to Vegas. Did okay there, but not awesome. And then from there, he goes to Calgary. So we'll see if he can reignite things there with the Flames. So there's a bunch more. There's a whole bunch more signings. I'm just trying to lump these up into different videos. So stay tuned. There's going to be lots more coming here throughout the afternoon. So stay tuned. We'll keep you up to date with the crazy NHL free agent frenzy. So again, let me know your thoughts on all these contracts. We'll discuss more coming up in the next video. Stay tuned for that, and I'll catch you next time.